Right now, joined in the studio by Deputy Higher Education Minister Buti Manamela. You can be a part of the conversation and the talk here in the studio as we're preparing for the new academic year. 072-110-554. Send us an X at Newzroom 405. DM, good to have you, and thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
So I wanted to start with that and play you that because I wanted to see the frustration on the faces of those young people. Here we are once again. It's a new academic year. You and I, same time last year, had this very same conversation. We are once again faced with a situation where we are unable to accommodate our well-celebrated matriculants who got their bachelor's pass. How?
Yeah. Look, I think it's quite unfortunate what we've just seen, and I really sympathize with the students who have been declined by the University of Northwest. And let me give you this picture. So we have about just above 500,000 matriculants who passed with diploma and bachelors and all of that. And of the 23 of the 26 universities that we spoke to, and all the TVET colleges, so the and community colleges. So the spaces that are available in the post-school education and training sector are just, I think, 50,000 shy of 500,000. So we have about 500,000 spaces that are available. I think 480,000 spaces also available.
In the public sector?
In the public sector. Okay. So about 210,000 of those are in universities, and about 150, 160 of those are at TVET colleges, and I think about 70,000 are at community colleges. And then there are various opportunities with sector education and training authorities and so on and so forth. And then, of course, you've got the private education space, which, for now, I don't want to talk about. We do not represent those, but they also represent, a significant number of study opportunities that students can look at. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that because, students take decisions on the basis of various factors, so most of them will apply at the University of Northwest, as you've seen, and I think the popular one that's been doing round is, many applicants who applied at WITS when WITS only has 6,000 spaces. Yeah. And they haven't only applied at WITS, not only at University of Northwest, so they've applied to various universities. And many matriculants and many parents and many in our communities expect that when you've passed that well, you should go to a university. But the reality is that the South African university system is abnormally already bigger than it should be compared to the TVET sector and the community colleges. Yeah. And that's why our focus for the last 10, 15 years has been to expand the TVET sector and the community colleges sector, and to make them enticing for students to go and study there. And that's why we've had this drive over the last few years to try and encourage students to go and consider. And I think
sorry, let me just come in there.
Yeah.
Are you saying to me that, if you look at the vet situation, it's 6,000 versus 100,000 who want to come in?
Yeah.
And it's almost similar in the situation in the Northwest.
In the Northwest and in UCT and everywhere else.
Are you saying all those students will be able to be accommodated at the TVET level?
So students make multiple applications.
Yeah.
Like I said, when we started, so we have about 550,000 students who qualify to go and join the post-school education and training sector. So those are the spaces that are available. So those are the people who want to enter the system. Yes. And the spaces that are available, I think we've got about a deficit of 100,000. Yeah. But the problem is most of the students want to go to university. Yeah. And what we're saying is that we have, multiple study options that are available even outside of university.
But I understand that. But here, that's my question. My question is, when you then take those numbers and the vacancies that are currently available at TVET colleges, will they be able to accommodate that excess of students that want to be placed right now?
So the spaces that we have, are probably 100,000 short of the number of students who passed last year in public institutions. So that's what we have. So basic education says, yes, 550,000 students who should be joining the post-school education and training sector, based on, and which is not a definitive number, by the way. The 23 universities that we've already spoken to, and all the TVET colleges and community colleges said the spaces that we have for first-time entrants is about 450,000. So so if all of the students would want to go and study at public institutions, we will be 100,000 short at public institutions.
And that is not taking into consideration the fact that there are those who are not beneficiaries of NSFAS who are taking up those opportunities, because on the beneficiaries of NSFAS,
no, these are not just beneficiaries. So these are spaces available for everyone.
Exactly.
Yeah, these are spaces
available for everyone. But
for everyone.
How many are you funding on NSFAS at the moment? First year, not maybe those who are doing their second or third year.
Well, look, I mean, we have to wait for the completion of the application process and all students being informed. As is
but
now,
based on past experience, on last year's numbers.
Look, I mean, we have both new and continuing students. I think the total number estimate for 2023 was around 890,000 students were funded, but this is both first year and continuing students. I do not have the definitive number for first year entrants, but they would constitute a bigger chunk of the number of students.
And that's the fear, is that you are giving them the opportunity to be funded, but no spaces for them to be accommodated.
Yeah. Look, and I think the minister made the point yesterday when we were announcing our state of readiness, that the skewed nature of our post-school education and training, which is also driven by South Africans' attitude of privileging university education, has put so much pressure. So we set ourselves a target of 1.6 million students at university by 2030. We're much closer to meeting that target compared to the number of students going to TVET colleges, for instance. And so that's why there is that drive. There is no country in the world which, when it seeks to industrialize, it focuses on universities. Universities are about research and about knowledge production. TVET colleges and universities of technology are about us producing technicians, are us producing artisans, and so on and so forth. So someone would say, I want to be a mechanical engineer. That person shouldn't necessarily be going into a university to study mechanical engineering. That person should be looking at a university of technology or a TVET college for them to ultimately become that which they want, which is a mechanical, engineer. So what I really want to encourage, because we have spaces in many of the fields at TVET colleges, and particularly for those students who see themselves doing the actual technical work, the actual, artisan work, and all of that. They want to be exposed to, the experience of the profession or the trade that they are passionate about. Please go to a TVET college which is in your neighborhood. Please ask them more information about that particular trade and register there. And the beauty about the qualifications framework and the way in which we've structured is that one can start at a TVET college, and if they believe that they want to pursue it further into research and all of that, whatever trade that they may have studied, they can even continue at a university level.
Big question, I suppose, that is facing us. How do you get a student who says, well, I've tried 3 times and I've been rejected because of capacity. I'm going to go wait and maybe we'll come back again and maybe they'll make a plan for me. But otherwise, I'm going to take a gap year. So for that student, it's either I get into this program or it's a gap year.
Would really want them to consider, various things. If they're hell-bent on studying at a university, and they still, because there is a reason why the university is not taking them into that particular program. I would advise them to consider going into a TVET college, or going into a distance learning institution such as the University of South Africa, or a University of Technology, or approach a different university and see if they can be accepted in that particular program. I listened to one of the students saying we need to build more universities. In fact, the biggest pressure that we have is trying to redirect resources so that we build more TVET colleges and skills centers, because that's where, we're not only looking at what the individual's interest is, but we're also looking at the direction within the economy of our country is going. We're talking industrialization. We're talking, about, fixing institutions such as ESCOM. We're talking about building huge infrastructure. We're talking about all of those things. You do not only need people with university degrees for us to be able to do that. Yeah. You need people who are, expert in particular traits that will help us, to drive. And I think what both higher education, together with various other departments and the private sector has done with the auto industry, wherein TVET colleges have become the supply, in the auto industry, in Pretoria, in East London, in PE, is something that we want to see replicated. As we speak now, most of the graduates from TVET colleges who ultimately become artisans have a higher absorption rate in terms of employment. They earn much higher compared to some of the university, graduates, plumbers, welders, you name them. And I think we need to move away from the mentality that TVET education is second class. Yeah. It is not second class. Yeah. It is different. It is about equipping you with the skills that you will need immediately when you have to join, industry.
Let me take some questions. Some questions coming through on WhatsApp, 072-110-5584. Hi, Tabo, please ask the DM about the missing middle students who are waiting for NSFAS to approve their applications. Universities demand registration fees, and we do not have.
1.4 million students apply to the NSFAS, and they're expecting more by the end of this month, which is the closing date. About 660,000 of those have already been approved. So if you have applied for NSFAS, you have a message from NSFAS that says provisionally funded. Go to your institution, go and register, because the NSFAS is going to fund you, whether it's TVET or university or anything of the sort.
But this is the missing middle.
Yes, that's where I'm coming to. So with regards to the missing middle, we had a meeting yesterday with the NSFAS, and they will be announcing details next week in terms of specifically the missing middle. The minister announced 3.8 billion rand, which will specifically fund the missing middle, meaning those students who are too rich for NSFAS, but cannot afford to fund themselves. So this loan scheme will be specifically for them.
But is the NSFAS process still the vehicle to which they?
Yes, the NSFAS process is still the same process within which this loan will be dispensed. To those. The NSFAS has that capacity, but they've also had conversations with universities who have existing loan schemes in terms of how we can easily facilitate access for students in terms of this missing middle. So the NSFAS will be, availing details, how to apply, what are the requirements and all of that. But most of the requirements will be similar to the requirements of NSFAS as we speak.
Let's talk then about the ones who are still remaining. I think there were 25,000. You've now said
22,000.
22,000, yes. And 9,000 have been resolved. What's the hold-up? Why is it so difficult?
So it's a tried system. So a student applies to NSFAS, but they also apply to the university. Now, in the past, we would pay a student, we would pay a university, whereas the university had not accepted the student, to study at that university. So what we're doing now is we're paying the student directly, but we want the university to confirm that this person has indeed found a space in your institution. So the 11,000 students who are outstanding, it has basically been that. So the NSFAS is working together with the student and the institutions concerned to resolve it. We've already resolved about 9,000 of the 22, and they're working on resolving the rest, as part of the academic year 2024. So all of those students, as long as you've studied last year, NSFAS had confirmed that you will be approved, you will be funded. What I want to caution, because there's also been this thing that we've been defunded. NSFAS gave us money for the first 6 months, and then later on they withdrew the money. There are students who just apply. What do they say on campuses? You apply just for vibes. You know that you do not qualify, and ultimately, because of certain delays and technicalities, you get granted the bursary, and then we find out later on along the road that you actually are from a household that doesn't qualify. So we cannot continue funding that particular student. I think the SIU recovered something to the tune of 5 billion rand, wherein students had defrauded the NSFAS, which is money that could have gone to fund legitimate students. So I think we really want to caution against those, but we also want to caution against those who are asked to pay money in exchange for an NSFAS bursary. You don't have to pay anything. And thirdly, we also want to say that those who have been provisionally funded by NSFAS and those who would be given loans will not be required to pay upfront registration, because the NSFAS will be covering those. So those are some of the shenanigans that we really want to warn prospective students about. Oh, the last one is around bogus colleges. Check our department's website. Check if the college you want to start, the college mostly, because we don't have private universities. Those colleges, check against the database that we have at the department, if that institution is duly registered, and if the program you want to study with that institution is also duly registered.
Why do you say the Department of Higher Education lacks credibility to talk about bogusness when you yourself are facing allegations of corruption in the minister? How are you quickly resolving that issue and cleaning it up as quickly as possible?
Look, I think a statement has been made to that effect, and what has been said, well, the chair of the NSFAS board has stepped aside. The NSFAS itself is making an investigation. The minister has subjected himself to the Integrity Commission of the ANC and the Ethics and Accountability Committee of the SACP, and I think there are one or two other political parties which have also taken up the matter through Parliament or through the judicial system. I think we'll have to see how that handled. What is important to me, and to the minister and to everyone in the department, at the NSFAS and everywhere. No, most definitely. I think we have learned our lessons, and I think we have the commitment of the National Student Financial Aid Scheme, that from the lessons that have been learned last year, we should be able to dispense allowances to students, tuition fees to universities, and have a smooth 2024.
Yeah. Let's leave it there for today. I've got some good news for you, and it's not confirmed yet, but I'm sure we'll confirm at the moment. I know you were worried about this. Apparently, Mali and Bafana are through, but we'll get confirmation in just a moment. That is the Deputy Minister.
Yeah, let's hope the whole year goes like this. And the whole tournament, firstly.
We appreciate your time. Thank you for coming through. Deputy Minister of Higher Education there, Buti Manamela. In Focus continues shortly. We'll get that update from you in just a moment. Stay with us.